This rebuild is taking a long time, but I think it's going to be worth it. Hurry! Call an ambulance! But not for me! What's going on, Canes fans? Welcome to week 2, Miami versus FAMU. In this video, we are going to preview this game, and I'm going to give my score prediction at the end. But before we do, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so you can join the college football family, and also make sure that you have notifications turned on, because I do a lot of random pop-up streams throughout the college football season, and I saw many people that were upset when they missed the random stream on Sunday night. I think I fired it up at like 10:30 Eastern time, and it was a really good time, and I still had a lot of people there, but so many more people wanted to be a part of that stream. And the easiest way to know when I go live is to turn on notifications. So make sure you subscribe, click that little bell, and join the college football family here on the Coach Coop YouTube channel. And also, I will be doing the fan call-in show this Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm very excited to announce that the score prediction contest prize pool has been raised to $200. That's right, we've doubled it from $100 last week to $200 this week, and that is all thanks to Stephanie. A lot of people here on my channel are very familiar with Stephanie, and she doubled it up. She threw another $100 on it. So all you have to do this Friday night is jump on my stream, call the number that's on your screen, predict the correct score for the game, and you win $200. And I have had people win this contest in the past. So let's get into it. FAMU is an FCS school, but they were the national HBCU champions last season. They're also currently on a 13-game win streak going back into last season, and they already have 2 games under their belt. Miami has only played 1. They also have 2 players on their team that Canes fans might recognize, Quan Lee and Thad Franklin Jr. Wide receiver Quan Lee actually committed to Miami back in 2021, but ended up changing his mind and going to UCF instead. Running back Thad Franklin, on the other hand, actually played for Miami in 2021 and 2022, but ended up transferring out and going to UL Monroe for 1 season, and now he is in his first season at FAMU. The Rattlers also have an experienced quarterback in Daniel Richardson, who has been playing college ball since 2019. This, however, is his first season at FAMU, and he's 5'10", roughly 205 pounds, and has thrown for 568 yards, get this, 6 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in his first 2 games. But let's all be completely honest here, and it's not that I'm trying to be disrespectful, but this is an FCS team at the end of the day. However, I will say, it's starting to look like they might be the second best team in the state of Florida. Now, this will be a big opportunity for Miami to iron out some issues and get guys some valuable reps before the ACC gauntlet begins. At the time of filming this, unfortunately, it does look like that both Ruben Bain and Damari Brown will still miss this game with soft tissue injuries that they received against Florida. But it's way better to just let those guys heal up and make sure that they're ready for later on in the season. And especially with Ruben Bain, like, we know that dude is going to eat regardless. Now, obviously, you never underestimate any opponent. This should go without saying, especially as a Miami Hurricanes fan. And Mario said that he wants the team to stay mad. He wants them to be hungry and driven. And I think that's exactly how they played against Florida. But at the same time, they did play pissed off, but they also played very disciplined with only 2 penalties, which was really awesome to see out of this Canes team. And Cam Ward truly appears to be that leader that Miami needed back there at the quarterback position. He makes the crazy off-platform throws that are just so tough to defend and prepare for. Honestly, the Canes should absolutely dominate the trenches in this game, and it should be another crazy performance for Cam Ward. But let's take a brief look at the history between these two teams. Miami and FAMU have faced off 11 times in total, with Miami winning 10 of them. The only game that FAMU won was way back in 1979, which would have been year 1 under Howard Schnellenberger for the Canes. And the most recent matchup was in 2016, and Miami won that one big time, 70-3. Next up, let's take a look at average stats so far this season. And just keep in mind that I do round up or down respectively, and FAMU does have 2 games under their belt. So these stats for Miami are basically just going to be the stats from the Florida game. But I still want to throw them up so you can take a quick look at them. So going into this matchup, average points per game so far this season, FAMU 23, Miami a whopping 41 after that beatdown on the Gators. Yes, I'm going to take every opportunity to continue to mention that, probably for the rest of the season. Points allowed against them per game, FAMU 21, Miami 17. Yards gained, FAMU 409, Miami 529. And finishing up here, yards allowed against them, FAMU 328, and Miami a pretty darn respectable 261. And now I'm going to give you 3 keys to a victory for each squad, and let's kick it off with the Miami Hurricanes. Coming in at number 1, we need to see more out of wide receiver Sam Brown. It's not that I'm harping on him specifically. I know it might seem like that because I'm name dropping, but he came in through the portal with quite a bit of hype. He only had 3 catches for 19 yards last week against Florida, so let's see bigger numbers this week, and there's no reason why we shouldn't. Number 2, pick off their quarterback Richardson early in the game to destroy his confidence. Again, he has a lot of experience, and he hasn't thrown an interception yet in his first 2 games with FAMU. He's a strong quarterback that does a great job at keeping his eyes down the field. So let's get an interception and let's rattle him. And lastly, pack the rock to help motivate the players. They are practically begging fans to show up on social media. And I know that you might not want to count this one because, you know, it's a thing for the fans to do, not something for the football team to do. So maybe it isn't considered a key to victory, especially against this caliber of opponent. But it's Ward's debut at Hard Rock, and giving the team an actual home field advantage would just be awesome to see. And, you know, plus I could sit here and give you a bunch of those football keys, but Miami should dominate across the board. So if you can make it to Hard Rock, I always want to emphasize that, if you can make it. I know that those guys on the team would really appreciate the support and to try to build somewhat of a home field advantage at Hard Rock Stadium. Next up is 3 keys to a victory for FAMU, and coming in at number 1, FAMU must win the time of possession battle. Miami will score a lot of points in this game, so keeping the ball out of the hands of the offense would help a lot. Number 2, ball security, emphasis on ball security, and you must buy time for your quarterback. We know Miami's D-line can just straight up get after it. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Richardson has only been sacked once so far this season. Your OC, though, in this game is going to have to get creative, maybe roll Richardson out a little more often, or just do something to give him more time. I mean, you could maybe focus on getting the ball out quickly, but at the same time, that was Mert's bread and butter at Florida, and we all saw how that ended last week. Now, I also mentioned ball security because FAMU has 3 fumbles over the last 2 games, so that is something that they definitely need to work on. And lastly, and I truly mean this one, this is probably the most important key to a victory for FAMU on this list. Pray. And pray real hard, because it's going to take an absolute miracle for you to win this football game. So now it's time to give you what you've all been waiting for. My pick and score prediction for this game. I know so many of you skipped to this exact point in the video because YouTube shows me that.
Yep.
This is the most skipped 2 part every single week in the previews. And I got it right last week. I picked Miami to beat Florida, and so did my dog Max. So we're both 1-0 on the picks so far this season. And speaking of Max, you know what? I'm going to take the pressure off of myself, and I'm actually going to let him pick first. And then I'll see you back over here in just a minute. All right, so the moment of truth. Max has had all week to think about it. Who's it going to be, my boy? Miami or FAMU? Come on. Make your pick. Come on, here we go. Oh, and he picks the upset with FAMU. Unbelievable. Wow. Wow. Honestly, I'm shocked and a little bit concerned, if I'm being honest. All joking aside, he picked Georgia Tech to upset Florida State, and then he picked Miami to beat Florida. So if we want to really be honest here, he's 2-0 technically. But what we're going to do, we're actually going to track his picks. I'm going to put up a little graphic image here week in and week out, and it's going to be Coop versus Max. So we're going to see who gets more right at the end of the year. Basically just going to put a W or L for the Canes, check mark or X. Did we get it right? And he actually picked FAMU this week. And he looked confident too. Before I give my pick, let me throw up the ESPN matchup predictor. And to no one's surprise here, they give Miami a 99% chance of victory. FAMU a measly 1%. And as far as betting odds go, I normally throw up some FanDuel stats, up here, the spread, the over and the under. I don't think that you can even bet on this game. I guess it's because the odds would be so lopsided that it's pointless to even allow people to bet on this game. I mean, maybe when it gets closer, I don't know, but I couldn't find odds on DraftKings, FanDuel, ESPN Bet, Hard Rock, anywhere. So, I mean, I get it, right? But with all of that being said, I do have some magic numbers in mind, and I do like to try to get as close as I can. Last week, I believe I said 27-21 Miami. I didn't give Miami's offense enough credit, obviously, in that game. I was a little too conservative. So we're going to try to be a little bit closer this week. So I'm going to give the Miami Hurricanes 52. And I'm going to give FAMU, you know what? This actually might surprise some people. I don't know. Let me know your score predictions down in the comment section, or you can save them for Friday if you want, or you can do both. I am going to give FAMU 7 here. And I know you're probably asking, Coop, where's that coming from? How do you expect FAMU to put up any points on Miami's defense? After the way they looked in week 1, Coop, come on. Maybe a garbage time touchdown, maybe an early touchdown due to, a busted coverage or something that happens early on in the game. I mean, Miami players are human as well. They can make some mistakes. And it also really depends on how long Mario decides to play the starters. And I also think that he might take the sort of respectful approach on the tail end of the game. I don't think that he tries to put 70 or 80 on these guys. Maybe he does, but we've seen him do that in the past. This is a team in the state of Florida. I know that he has some respect for those guys. I mean, it's foot on the gas, foot on the throat when on the field. you're flexing on these guys. But, you know, if you've put up 40, 50 plus and it's in the fourth quarter, you know, he might put backups in or he might go experimental mode. He said he wants to play the starters a lot, you know, so they get a lot of reps before we get to ACC play, but you have to balance that and injuries. So we'll see. I'm going to say 52-7. I believe the most recent or last shutout at Hard Rock was in 2021 against Central Connecticut. That was 69-0. But since then, I don't think that we've shut anyone out at Hard Rock. So it's hard for me to put a goose egg there, but maybe you're ballsy enough to do it. So let me know what you think. I've got 52-7. I understand the Canes are capable. Then, you know, they're capable of even more than this against an FCS opponent. But we'll see. We'll see. I think 52-7 is a very juicy score, and adding another tally mark in that win column is good enough for me. I just want to keep winning, and everything else will take care of itself. So don't forget, Friday night, my call-in show at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Predict the score to the game, win $200. But please feel free to chop it up down in the comment section for this one. Hype might not be as high with it being FAMU, but it's Cam Ward at Hard Rock. Man, the Canes, let's get this thing rolling, right? I also was fortunate enough to find a guest for my Inside Insight show. It's going to be a little late this week. I usually post it on Wednesdays or Thursdays. It's probably not going up until Friday, but I found someone who reps the Rattlers, and he's willing to come onto my show and do an Inside Insight. So we have that coming up. We have my final thoughts video on Friday. We have the call-in show on Friday, plus the watch party for the game. So it's going to be a really fun end to the week here on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday. It's going to be a great time. So let's chop it up down in the comment section below. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family. But at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one. All right. Ooh, that chili.